Weekers, tweakers, thrill freaking seekers, welcome back to another freaking hilarious freaking episode of freaking Our Week in Review on WAYO LP freaking Rochester, also on freaking iTunes, SoundCloud, Apple freaking Podcasts, YouTube, Google Play, and also, geez Louise, down on my knees, freaking Spotify and freaking YouTube. Weekers, tweakers, thrill seekers, we are so freaking hot and for you. The panel consists of freaking Doug Jordan to my freaking left, and Sandy the Sandman freaking Farkas coming all the way from freaking Seattle, New York, via freaking Satellite, New York, via freaking, and then he's coming all the way from freaking Seattle, freaking Washington, via Satellite, freaking New York. Weekers, tweakers, thrill freaking seekers, it has been 1 week since we last spoke, and geez Louise, down on my knees, we missed you so freaking very freaking much. We are in the middle of a freaking terrible freaking war, a radio freaking war, the greatest one that this freaking country and all of the freaking radio waves across the United States of freaking US of freaking A has ever freaking seen. And we need all of you, and we're freaking recruiting you. We can't freaking do that. We can't freaking even talk like that on this freaking radio station. Jeez Louise, down on my knee, worst radio station in the history of the freaking world. But we need your support, and if there's anything you can freaking do financially, geez Louise, down on my knees, we can't say that, and I can't ask you to do that, and I never freaking would. But eyes, ears, mouths wide open. Yep, you guessed it. Evan Dawson, radio host of freaking WXXI's freaking Connections, is out to freaking get us, and we need to freaking prank him and put him on freaking blast. Weekers, tweakers, thrill seekers, Doug Jordan, myself, and Sandy had a great freaking hilarious freaking week, and we're going to get right into that. We also have a great freaking show coming up for you with full of news and discussions. We might freaking talk about freaking Joe Pesci a little later as well. So, geez Louise, down on my freaking knees. Gentlemen, start your freaking engines. This is Our Week in Review.
Great.
Doug freaking the Slug freaking Jordan, back 2 weeks now from his herpes outbreak that he actually blamed on his freaking dog. Likely story. This isn't the freaking first grade and your freaking homework wasn't eaten. Jeez Louise, down on his knees. How is the freaking scrappy little piece of dog that we got for you? And watch the freaking language.
Well, yeah, no, I didn't have a herpes outbreak, and the dog's fine.
Well, there you go. So, Sandy, how about your week? How are you doing? How are you? How freaking are you? And how the heck are you doing? And how was your week?
I'm freaking as a freaking Dickens. I'm freaking as freaking hell. And my week has been quite the freaking eventful one. Let's just say all quiet is not all is not freaking quiet on the freaking front lines of the freaking radio war. Let me tell you, lots of new freaking developments. I took another week off from work due to freaking emotional stress.
Yeah, and for weakers and tweakers out there, maybe the most nefarious act so far in the radio war has come at the hands of Sandy and his best friend back home, not his best friend in the world, which would be freaking Taylor, the freaking Sandman, freaking Lofton, myself. But geez Louise, his roommate Dave, for weakers and tweakers who haven't been freaking listening, he was most likely murdered. And we can't speculate here on Our Week in Review who did it, but yep, you freaking guessed it. It was definitely freaking Evan Dawson.
Yeah. So according to work, my leap of absence is freaking emotional stress. Don't freaking tell them. I'm doing a bit of freaking sleuthing.
For weakers and tweakers out there, and myself, what does freaking sleuthing mean? And geez Louise, down on my freaking knees, what the freaking heck are you freaking talking about?
Well, I'm doing a little bit of freaking investigate. I'm doing a little bit of a freaking investigation into what exactly has freaking transpired during this radio war, and I've come to a few freaking very freaking shocking conclusions.
Well, you freaking found out. You freaking got freaking evidence.
Don't freaking interrupt me. I've got freaking evidence. Basically, all right. So if you recall, the suicide note left by Dave mentioned freaking Esperanza, which is a freaking word that I don't know what the freaking heck that freaking even means.
Yeah.
So a quick freaking Google search, and I was able to find some very freaking shocking evidence. First of all, the first thing I found was that it means freaking hope, and I said, oh, it's freaking great. That's lovely, whatever that freaking means. And then I saw that another translation, freaking illusion.
Oh my God.
And then after that, the next word, it said freaking possibilidad. And guess who's a freaking dad? Freaking Evan Dawson.
Yeah.
Possibly a freaking dad. Possibilidad.
Yeah. And an illusion. And he's got a freaking illusion because he might actually be a...
Because he's freaking pulling the freaking strings all the way across freaking country.
Yeah. I don't know how you freaking did it, but you did it. Yeah. I don't know how you freaking did it, and I don't know how you freaking do it, but I'm so freaking hot and that you did it, and I'm so freaking happy for you.
There's freaking more. There's more.
We got him.
There's freaking more. There's freaking more. Freaking Dave. I went to the last reading of freaking Dave's Will and freaking Testament.
Yeah.
And there was some more freaking shocking freaking news. My little freaking girlfriend, ex-girlfriend, his freaking lover, he was having sex with her. I freaking also had freaking sex. We have the two of us had sex with the same freaking woman who was a freaking little tiny freaking shit. Basically, she was there. She received something. I was given his freaking Vespa scooter because I always used to tell him how much I freaking loved it. So I can't be. I'm so excited to be freaking zipping around then. And then there was another freaking name on the freaking list.
Dawson.
No. Someone named freaking Donna Waves. And when I freaking when I heard this freaking name, Donna wasn't even in the freaking room, by the way. When I heard this freaking name, I said, "There's something not right about it. It's a freaking anagram. It's freaking Evan Dawson."
Oh my God. It is freaking Evan Dawson.
He's got his freaking fingers in this so freaking deep, and he freaking murdered freaking Dave. In cold freaking blood too. Made it look like a freaking suicide.
Well, I mean, why is Donna Waves related to Evan Dawson? Am I missing something?
Do you not know what an anagram is? Also, watch your freaking language.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, does it actually spell out? I guess Donna Waves.
DONNAWAVES.
Dawson. It spells freaking Dawson.
It's probably just a coincidence if you think about it, though. I mean, I don't know.
Regardless, when I freaking made this freaking realization, first thing I did was freaking go into freaking the radio station where I work, freaking break into freaking Dick's office, and freaking stole every single freaking document I could find and his freaking hard drive.
Yeah.
And I may be in a lot of freaking trouble for that because that one doesn't look like it. That now it's starting to look like a freaking personal attack.
Yeah. And geez Louise, down on my freaking knees and down on freaking Dave's knees, what'd you find? What'd you get? And freaking how were you?
Freaking spilled beer all over the freaking hard drive. Freaking broke it. So, and documents couldn't make a freaking lick of sense about them. It just looked like freaking paperwork and freaking bills and stuff.
So I mean, there's no relation to him and Evan Dawson then. If the documents were just bills, you have no evidence relating Dick, the co-host of your show, to Evan Dawson.
Is that correct?
About? What's that you freaking talking about? What about the freaking anagram and the freaking Esperanza meeting freaking possibilidad?
I mean, have you tried to look for this Donna Waves person? Maybe she's a real freaking person.
I mean, there's a definite freaking possibility that Donna Waves is a real freaking person, but for weakers and tweakers out there, we know and we can freaking smell a freaking Dawson attack coming a mile away.
Yeah.
And for myself, I had one this week as well, and geez Louise, down on my knees, I could definitely freaking smell it because... I went into the freaking bathroom yesterday freaking morning, and as I always freaking do, I wake up like an alarm clock going off, and I have to take a freaking giant number freaking 2. And I get up out of my freaking... I'm still sharing a room with freaking Arnold because the fire damage has not been completely fixed. The water damage has not been completely fixed either. And I walk into the freaking bathroom, and what do I freaking see? The minute I close and lock the door for my freaking... where I take my freaking half hour in the morning to myself, and I see right there on the freaking toilet bowl a giant freaking log of turd. And I could freaking smell it, and I could smell freaking WXXI freaking connections all over it. It smelled just like the freaking how terrible the freaking show is. And I said, freaking Dawson, you got me freaking good. You got me freaking good.
I mean, you share this bathroom with everybody else that lives there?
Yeah, a bunch of crazy people.
So, I mean, okay, I don't think it was Evan Dawson, but you're going to think that, so what?
But the freaking smell, Doug.
No, it smelled like freaking Dawson. It smelled like his freaking voice. It smelled like his freaking radio show. It smelled awful. It was like his freaking terrible show we stole all of our freaking ideas from.
Yeah.
He's insidious.
Speaking of Arnold, listen, there's freaking evidence all over that freaking office that I freaking broke in and stole all those freaking documents. So Doug, I'm gonna need you to freaking spot us some more freaking dough. Get freaking Arnold over here on the opposite side of the freaking country and freaking set that whole place freaking blaze.
Yeah, that'd be hilarious.
No, I'm not gonna do that.
I'm gonna need you to freaking bankroll this one, Doug.
Doug, this is an important free. We're all involved in this already. We're all freaking. We're freaking too deep into this to back out now. We're all freaking involved, and you were involved the moment you stepped into freaking Our Week Studios.
Well, I mean, you have a job on a radio station, so
I don't have a freaking job.
I'm talking about freaking
I live
Sandy.
at a freaking group home.
I'm talking about Sandy. I'm not talking about you. I know you don't have a job. Sandy, you have money. You could pay for his plane ticket out there, I'm assuming.
Yeah, but if I wanted to do that, I would. I mean, come on, Doug.
There'd be a freaking
Doug.
There'd be a freaking paper trail, Doug.
I just don't understand what. Oh no, go ahead. Say what you gotta say.
Okay, please, just freaking shut it. Look, the thing about it is, what side of freaking history do you want to freaking be on when this freaking war wraps up?
Yeah, that's a good freaking point.
Yeah, when are you gonna freaking step up to the freaking plate and say this is where I freaking stand in this freaking war, and this is what I'm willing to freaking do, and this is how much I'm willing to freaking spend.
Yeah, because I'll go to my freaking grave with this one. I really will. If this takes me all the way down to the deepest, darkest grave, and then I keep trying to dig my way out of it, and I just keep ending up in a freaking deeper freaking grave, and eventually I freaking starve to death trying to dig my way through freaking China, I'll freaking do it.
And Doug, why would I spend money that I make from my job to set my freaking job on fire?
Yeah, that's a good freaking point.
Why would I spend money that I make from my job to set your job on fire?
Because we're all freaking in this together, Doug.
Yeah, because I freaking need you, Doug.
But I got a wife and I got a kid that I got to take care of, so I can't just keep giving out money. I've been saying this for weeks, months, years now. You know, I'm not made of freaking money.
Doug,
and
if
you
it's a
owe me a
freaking
lot of
paper,
freaking money.
it's a freaking paper trail you're worried about. We can put the freaking ticket in Arnold's freaking name if he freaking has one, other than if the guy even freaking has a last name.
Can't tell. He doesn't freaking say anything. You know what, Doug? With this whole spiel that you're doing about how you don't have freaking money, you got a family you got to freaking take care of, you know who you're starting to sound like? Starting to sound like you freaking Dawson got to you. And I'd hate to see you get on the freaking wrong side of the war.
I mean, I don't understand how that means Dawson got to me when I said specifically I have a family and a wife and a kid that I need to support with my freaking money.
It's freaking what Dawson would say.
Yeah, we need to keep a freaking eye on Doug. This isn't looking freaking good.
And as for our freaking man out in the field, Tadia freaking Risher, I believe he does have a cane now, so I believe he is doing some good investigating of his own. A freaking real gum freaking shoe, if you know what I freaking mean. He is investigating, most likely freaking illicit sex dungeons and freaking YMCA giant group orgies, but he is pulling his leg of the work. And if you were out there having sex with basically old men at freaking YMCAs in the name of freaking Our Week in Review, we wouldn't be having this freaking conversation right now.
Well, you know, what I just want to bring up real quickly,
go ahead.
When freaking Tadia Richard started the show, everybody thought that he was a freaking spy for Evan Dawson. And now all this stuff is freaking happening, and all of a sudden Tadia Richard is freaking missing?
Wow, that's a freaking very good freaking point. Doug, you're quite the freaking sleuth yourself. I'm impressed.
This is what we could freaking do, Doug. You're absolutely right. We need to use freaking Tadia Richards' boundless sexuality to entice freaking Evan Dawson into a freaking group sex orgy with him. And then he'll steal all his freaking secrets. And then we'll be on top of this thing once and for all. That's a freaking great point.
I think you heard that the wrong way. We're thinking that freaking this was freaking Tadia all along. He freaking got our freaking secrets.
What are you freaking talking about?
Tadia freaking infiltrated our show, was sent by freaking Evan Dawson, which is what I said from the very freaking beginning.
Wait a minute.
And now that all this is freaking happening, and that our freaking lives are finally being freaking ruined, and the war is freaking waging on, he's freaking nowhere to be found. We haven't seen him in freaking weeks.
But so you think the freaking Tadia freaking Richard will have freaking sex with Dawson and steal his freaking secrets? I mean, what are you guys freaking saying to me right freaking now?
I think Tadia was a freaking spy all along, and he gave all of our freaking secrets to Evan Dawson. If that's actually happening,
that I'm freaking lost on this one. Weakers, tweakers, thrill seekers. We got a great freaking hilarious freaking show. Mike, Doug, Jordan. First week of freaking school started today because we're recording this on a freaking Monday. On Monday, August 26th, your son back in freaking school. Freaking is the freaking Dickens, I imagine, carrying a freaking backpack, skateboard, backwards freaking hat, freaking high top sneakers with the laces undone, backwards jeans, maybe a necklace of some sort. Probably got a freaking tattoo now that it's already freaking end of the freaking day. How's he doing? And geez Louise, was it tough seeing him off this morning as he's getting older and getting more into sex, drugs, freaking sex?
Yeah, I'd like you to never bring up how my son may or may not be on the radio ever again. And no, he's been in school for years now, so it was fine seeing him go to freaking school.
How much freaking lunch money you get a kid?
I pack his lunch.
What? Oh God, you're giving this kid a freaking PB&J.
Well, yeah, I make him a PB&J, and I also make myself a PB&J for freaking lunch.
What is with you, Don?
This is why the kid is freaking rebelling against you. This is why the kid is this way. I want to take this kid under my freaking wing. Maybe he should stay with me in the freaking group home for a little while. And he needs a freaking tough guy freaking influence on him. And I know a bunch of freaking tough guys, myself freaking included. And geez Louise, down on my knees. You can't be raised by a freaking ninny like you know, basically giving him freaking PB&Js when the kid wants freaking egg salad sandwich with freaking chips so they can put it in the middle of it.
Yeah, my son will not be going anywhere near you or your freaking group home.
The boy basically already thinks of me as his freaking other father.
No, he doesn't.
If Sanjay hasn't confused him by now.
I mean, he just thinks of that weird guy that I hang out with, if you really want to know what he freaking thinks of you.
Sanjay?
No.
That's your boyfriend.
My kid. No, Sanjay is the co-host on my show. Doug Knows Best, also on WAYOLP freaking Rochester.
Worst radio station in the history of the freaking world.
Yeah.
Well, geez Louise, down on my knees. I had a couple of things I wanted to freaking touch on. I was going to talk about how terrible the freaking dinner at my freaking group home is, but geez Louise, weakers and tweakers should know by now that the food there is just freaking absolutely atrocious. Doug, Jordan, I did want to ask you, there's been some Twitter going on the freaking internet all about this freaking Popeyes chicken sandwich. Do you know anything about it? Why don't you go ahead and freaking take it to the freaking sports desk? What is going on with the freaking Popeyes chicken sandwich? What is the controversy, and what can we look forward to in terms of chicken sandwiches all across the freaking world?
Yeah, I don't really know a lot about it. I heard that Popeyes had a chicken sandwich and they've been selling out of them everywhere, right? Is that what it is?
Yeah, and this freaking terrible freaking rapper said that geez Louise, down on his freaking knees, he had bought a whole bunch and was trying to sell them for $1,000 a pop. Now, I heard that freaking story, but what is so good about this freaking chicken sandwich? And it's supposed to be the best chicken sandwich of all time, and everybody else is freaking, they just can't keep them on the freaking shelves.
Well, you know, I'm just surprised. It's supposed to be I'm surprised because how long has Popeyes been around and they haven't had a chicken sandwich up until this freaking point? Is that what it is?
That's a good freaking point. That's a good freaking point. I mean, why? I mean, you already got freaking fried chicken. You can't put a couple of freaking pieces of white bread around it and a ton of freaking mayo and a freaking tomato and a freaking pickle on it and maybe some freaking horseradish and maybe a little bit of mustard and then also like maybe some freaking coleslaw on it and then you put a side of fries and then you get a freaking milkshake with it, maybe chocolate, maybe freaking vanilla, maybe freaking strawberry, and then you need a drink to wash down the freaking milkshake, so you get maybe a lemonade, maybe a freaking Kool-Aid, and then you get freaking barbecue sauce on the freaking side with a little of that freaking horsey mayo. And geez Louise, down on my knees, why can't they freaking do that? Is that freaking complicated? I mean, if I drove up to a freaking drive-thru and I asked for all that, would they be able to make my wishes come freaking true? And is that too much to freaking ask? For a freaking side of freaking a horsey sauce with then a freaking ranch on the freaking side in case I want to do double dips.
Yeah, well, I can tell you for sure Popeyes does not have horsey sauce. That's an Arby's original and an Arby's staple, so you would have to go to Arby's for the horsey sauce. The rest of it you could probably get at freaking Popeyes.
Weakers, tweakers, thrill seekers, we have entered the best freaking part of the show. It's called Our Week's Freaking News and Discussins. This is where weakers, tweakers, thrill seekers and freaking mayotards especially, are encouraged to call in, basically join in the conversation, tell us what we're doing right, tell us what we're doing wrong. Maybe we didn't get a freaking fresh take on this one, and maybe you'll get freaking put on blast. You also might get a freaking prize or two. So last week, famed broadcaster Larry King filed for divorce from wife Shawn King after 22 years of marriage, according to CNN. The 85-year-old former Larry King live host cited irreconcilable differences as the reason for the couple's split. King has been married 8 times to 7 different women spanning nearly 7 decades. This is the second time King has filed for divorce from his current 59-year-old wife, with whom he has 2 sons. A source close to the family told TMZ that Shawn does not plan to dispute the divorce because King has been in and out of the hospital over the last 6 months, and she says doctors have told her that Larry doesn't have long to live. According to Page 6, the couple has not been faithful, as Shawn had an alleged affair with her son's baseball coach, while Larry has been accused of sleeping with Shawn's sister, Shanna Engelman. So, geez Louise, down on my knees. If you see a freaking, basically, if you've ever seen the cover from freaking Tales of the Crypt, that's what freaking Larry King looks like. He is old as a freaking Dickens. He's basically disintegrating as he freaking speaks. He looks like that tune that they throw in the freaking acid at the end of the freaking movie, if you know what I freaking mean. Talking about freaking Who Framed Freaking Roger Freaking Rabbit.
Yeah, this is something that I can definitely agree on. I honestly thought Larry King was going to die any second of any day, any time that I've seen him on freaking television, so I'm not surprised that he's not dead already.
Yeah. And that freaking Who Framed Roger Rabbit movie, holy cow, that is just one of the freaking funniest.
Yeah. Yeah, just one that actually I said we were going to freaking talk about Joe Pesci. Yep, Joe Pesci plays the freaking main character other than freaking Roger Rabbit, and he's freaking absolutely freaking hilarious in that freaking movie.
Yeah, big bumbling fat short little round freaking moron, freaking, and he goes into freaking cartoon world, and
yeah,
and geez Louise, don't get me even freaking started on his freaking girlfriend, on the rabbit's freaking girlfriend.
I gotta say, I agree with you guys. I think it's a truly delightful film. I love Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Great.
You know who kind of looks like the freaking girlfriend? Your freaking wife, Doug.
That's freaking true.
Jessica Rabbit looks kind of freaking like your wife.
Yeah, we don't gotta talk about my wife, but I will say that I definitely liked when I was a boy, when I was a young man, and I saw the movie, and I thought she was a freaking hot cartoon.
Yeah, I find quite a few cartoons freaking very freaking hot. And there's a whole freaking section on freaking different internet websites that I like to freaking frequent that, yep, you freaking guessed it, are all about that kind of thing. Cartoons that are freaking having sex and doing really freaking dirty things, and it's freaking absolutely wild. And there's almost no story in them.
I just don't want to blow past this. Doug, are you saying that your first experience with freaking Jessica Rabbit made you freaking
You freaking
is the freaking Dickens?
You played with your freaking self?
I don't like to talk about how I am or when I was once on the freaking radio, but I can say that I definitely had strong feelings for that cartoon when I was younger.
Did you freaking play with yourself?
Yeah, no, I don't want to talk about that.
I mean,
I'm assuming that you probably did, and you're going to talk about the thing that you do when you're all alone by yourself. Is that where this is going to go?
I'm just freaking imagining you sitting there, and maybe you're next to your freaking grandmother with a freaking Afghan over your lap watching Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and you got a freaking popsicle in your mouth, and you're thinking about how you really wish that popsicle was in your freaking rear.
And you're just freaking sucking away at that thing anyway.
Yep. And you got one hand underneath the freaking Afghan, and you're looking at freaking Jessica Rabbit, and you're looking at freaking Joe Pesci, and you're thinking, which one do I freaking want more? And then the freaking rabbit comes in, and now you're really freaking confused because now there's a freaking animal on screen.
And then you look at your own freaking grandma.
Yeah, none of that happened.
And then you freaking climax.
Yeah, no, none of that happened. I can definitely tell you none of that is true.
It's freaking hilarious.
Yeah. And it's freaking true.
And I'd rather we just get off the freaking subject.
You got it. Last week, a sheriff's deputy lied about being shot by a sniper in Southern California, according to Good Morning America. Angel Reynosa, the deputy in question, admitted to falsifying the story after an extensive citywide manhunt was already underway. Reynosa claimed to have taken sniper fire in the shoulder of his bulletproof vest, but later admitted that he made the story up. Upon further inspection, no shots had been fired and no injuries sustained. Reynosa said to have cut a hole in his own uniform. No word as to what criminal charges he may face. Reynosa gave no explanation for his falsification. Just freaking rhymes.
So, do you think that maybe he really did get shot, and then now the freaking government's trying to freaking cover it up, and maybe the freaking sniper was the guy that killed freaking what's his name in prison, and then they didn't want to freaking find him.
Reagan.
Yeah, who are you talking about?
That friggin'
Epstein.
Jeffrey friggin' Epstein. Yeah.
The thing about freaking Jeffrey Epstein was he was really freaking close to being freaking convicted by freaking Judge Apatow, and he basically, that was the only freaking way out, was taking his own freaking life.
Yeah, but a lot of people think, because he was on friggin' 24-hour suicide watch, a lot of people think that it was a friggin' inside job and somebody freaking killed him.
So at one point, I might be on freaking 24-hour suicide watch for all I freaking know, and I don't know why. But geez Louise, down on my knees, they're watching me like a freaking hawk over at the group home. So this guy freaking didn't get freaking shot, and I'm not necessarily following your freaking conspiracy theories, Doug. But geez Louise, down on my freaking knees, what would be the motivation to pretending you got freaking shot? Sandy the Sandman Farkas, your father has falsified many a freaking crime and actually committed crimes. Geez Louise, why don't you just go ahead and talk?
I have a very freaking complicated relationship with my freaking father. He's a freaking and he freaking cut off my freaking pinky. He's never gone about trying to make it seem like he himself has been injured, but he's definitely done a very good job of injuring others. The story goes that he freaking killed his own freaking brother to make it look like he freaking died, so he could start off as his new freaking life impersonating my freaking his freaking brother. So there are lots of benefits. I'm sorry, I'm freaking drunk. What are we talking about?
I mean, I think that's basically, so I think, last week, I pretty much.
Freaking Doug Jordan gets from freaking cartoons.
No, I don't. Freaking Taylor gets freaking from cartoons, and we'll talk about it to know.
I definitely freaking do. You go on there, you go on one of these sites, I can't recommend them, I shouldn't even be talking about them on the freaking radio, but you go on one of these sites, and you're looking at normal freaking porno, and then all of a sudden you're scrolling down, and there's a freaking cartoon one, and you go, well, I gotta see what that's all freaking about, and 4 seconds into the freaking video, you're freaking hooked. And now you're down a freaking rabbit hole.
What specific cartoons have you watched freaking have sex with each other?
Simpsons. Freaking Homer Simpson, and then Mr. Flanders, and geez Louise, down on my knees, you got freaking Principal freaking Skinner getting in there, and you got freaking Krusty the freaking Clown, geez Louise, down on my knees, you got to see what his hair freaking turns into, all sorts of freaking phallic-like freaking symbols, and then geez Louise, down on his knees, you got freaking Marge, and then you got freaking Cartman, he's freaking in there too, with his trousers down around his ankles, his fat little behind showing. And it's a freaking great freaking thing. And I can't tell Weakers and Tweakers to go see it, but because it's not in freaking theaters. But if you want to, geez Louise, down on my knees, maybe a Google search. I don't know.
It sounds like the freaking video you watched was mostly the freaking male characters.
Yeah. Yeah, that's just what comes on. I mean, Last week, Good Morning America co-host Laura Spencer apologized for laughing on air after learning that Prince George was taking ballet classes, according to Entertainment Tonight. While talking about the young prince's grueling school schedule, Spencer explained that along with the usual second-grade schedule, Prince George would be taking on religious studies, computer programming, poetry, and ballet. The host playfully laughed after saying ballet and then continued to speculate on whether the child's interest in prestigious dance study would continue. And, quote, Prince William says Prince George absolutely loves ballet. I have news for you, Prince Williams. We'll see how long that lasts, Spencer said before adding, he might. Spencer later apologized after receiving backlash for her comments. The publication noted that this is the first time the co-host has had an on-air apology. So, geez Louise, down on my knees. Doug Jordan, how do you feel about this? Her laughing about freaking little baby freaking Prince George, soon to be the freaking king someday, taking ballet classes, and is she right for freaking laughing about that?
Well, I can understand why she laughed, because it's not conventional for young boys to want to do ballet. However, I think it was freaking pretty inappropriate, because who really cares what the kid wants to freaking do? You know, if the kid likes doing freaking ballet, let the kid do freaking ballet.
I mean, it made me freaking laugh when I thought about it, because I'm thinking about this little freaking British kid with this hilarious freaking little freaking accent, and he's a king, so he's wearing a freaking giant crown way too big for his freaking head, and he's trying to do ballet with this freaking heavy crown on his freaking head, and his freaking teeth are freaking as yellow and as freaking crooked as the freaking Dickens, and he's freaking talking basically in a way that nobody could freaking possibly understand, and he's trying to buy things with freaking shillings. And he's asking for freaking more freaking porridge, and geez Louise, down on my knees. It's the most hilarious freaking thing I ever thought of in my freaking life. And then Ebenezer freaking Scrooge comes in, and he's got a big freaking turkey, but he won't share it with nobody. And the guy, and he's saying, "Can I please have some freaking more?"
And then guess who freaking walk-ins? Freaking Dickens himself.
Yep.
Freaking Dickens is there, and guess what he's doing?
Playing with himself.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's fine. I mean, you're laughing at it for different. You're making a freaking caricature of it. She's just laughing because it's a young man doing freaking ballet.
I think she was just laughing because freaking ballet is freaking hilarious, and she's picturing this little boy in freaking hilarious freaking tights standing on his toes. And why isn't he playing freaking sports like football and freaking and street fighting?
Because he likes to do freaking ballet, and that's totally freaking fine.
No, he doesn't.
I mean, freaking Prince William says Prince George freaking loves doing freaking ballet.
He's a little boy, Doug. He likes freaking playing with himself. He doesn't like freaking doing ballets. I mean, this kid's taking after freaking Dickens himself. You know, he's freaking. This is a freaking boy.
Jeez, the freaking wheeze down on my freaking knees. Last week, with the new Friends Edition Lego playset available in stores, Matthew Perry announced on social media that he has gotten his hands on the limited edition item and that he is Batman, according to Yahoo Celebrity. I built the Friends Lego set, wrote Perry on Twitter. I made myself Batman, but that's neither here nor there. I'm Batman. Jeez Louise. Along with his superhero revelation, Perry posted a picture of his Lego Chandler Bing character, saying that he could clearly see that Chandler is the most attractive. Perry, who celebrated his 50th birthday last week, has been in the news lately for his bizarre behavior and his disturbing appearance.
Do you like the freaking cartoon Lego Chandler Bing? Is that something that you like looking at?
What are you talking about?
Because it's a little, you said that freaking cartoons make me, so I'm just asking if the Lego made.
Yes, freaking cartoons make me, but Legos don't make me freaking.
I mean, but do you?
I'm pretty sure it sounds like freaking Legos make freaking Chandler freaking Bing, because he's looking at himself and he's basically saying that he would freaking himself off.
Yeah, it's like a lot like how you would look in the mirror and pretend it was your brother and freaking off staring at him. It's not exactly. It's sort of like that. But let me ask you this: this guy that says he's freaking Batman? Is he? What's he doing there? What's Chandler freaking Bing thinking about? And why is he dressing up like freaking Batman? Yeah, that I don't.
He's too fat to play freaking Batman. His chin would never fit in the suit. It's not quite the same thing as freaking fat freaking Jonah Hill playing freaking Batman.
Because they build a bigger freaking suit for him. Freaking Matthew Perry, they just try and stuff him into the normal one, and it would.
I mean, he'd probably get in there at first, and then it'd explode.
I mean, parts of him would freaking billow out.
Yeah.
Well, I think he was talking about how he made he dressed up as his Lego character as Batman.
It said in the freaking story he's a big freaking superhero fan, so. And now he's dressing like freaking Batman.
Do you think he's trying to hint that he wants to play the freaking new Batman, but they won't let him?
Yeah, they're definitely not going to let him. They're not going to let him in anything.
Guys, he's not freaking Chandler Bing is freaking done.
Yeah. He's off the freaking rails. See, look up, for Weakers and Tweakers, I can't tell you what to do, but if you look up a picture of freaking Chandler freaking Bing in the freaking flesh, and I don't mean totally freaking naked, because that would make you throw up, but, geez Louise, it's absolutely freaking hilarious. And him naked would be absolutely hilarious. I'd love to see that, too. I'd love to see the whole cast of freaking Friends naked. Today. You know, what they look like now. You got the Monica, she looked like a freaking skeleton walking around. Freaking, she looks like she could put. She might actually end up playing freaking Larry King in the freaking made-for-TV freaking movie. That's what I freaking heard.
Doug, which character on Friends would you like to see freaking naked? Joey?
Gunther?
Yeah, sure, I'll say Gunther. It'd probably be funny to look at Gunther freaking naked.
Yeah, it would be hilarious. I'd like to see freaking Newman naked. I want to see what that looks like. But they need a big camera lens for that. Maybe take one of those freaking panorama freaking shots. Or maybe they take an aerial photo of him naked. Have him lie down in the Grand Canyon. Fill the thing up. Just lying in it like it's a freaking bathtub. Big fat guy from Seinfeld for Weakers and Tweakers who don't know. Last week, the son of former NFL player Barry Bennett was arrested in Mexico on suspicion of murder after both his parents were found dead from gunshot wounds, according to CNN. Dylan John Bennett was arrested by Mexican police in Quintana Roo and transported back to Minnesota. According to authorities, Dylan Bennett contacted police prior to his arrest, telling officers that he knew they were looking for him and that he would turn himself in. Barry and Carol Bennett were both 63 at the time of their death. Jeez Louise, down on my knees. Doug Jordan, when you hear a story like this about freaking patricide and matricide, parenticide, do you get freaking nervous that your kid will come into the middle of the night and shoot you in your freaking face?
Me, personally, no. Do you think your parents ever got nervous about you?
Yeah. I think my father got nervous. He used to get very jealous when I was a very young baby of the attention my mother gave me, and then I got freaking very jealous of the attention that she gave him as I got freaking older. I think my father was very afraid of what I was freaking capable of.
Wasn't there a story about how you were hiding underneath the freaking bed and your father saw you in the mirror?
Yeah. Yeah.
They
had a mirror above their freaking bed, and he saw me, and I saw him, and we made eye contact. He didn't say a freaking word. He just kept having sex with her, my mother. It was freaking hilarious.
So you think that's why your parents moved away and didn't really tell you about it?
I don't know why they did that. Yeah, they moved to a freaking houseboat, and they live, I think, in freaking Virginia somewhere on a freaking houseboat. For all I freaking know.
And you can't contact them at all, or have you tried?
Well, how are they going to get a freaking phone out on a houseboat? Are you going to freaking plug it into the water?
Yeah, sort of a freaking dumbass question, Doug.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you could take a freaking cell phone anywhere.
Also, watch your language.
I said freaking.
They're very freaking old. They don't know how to use a freaking cell phone now. And I freaking miss my mother very much, and I miss not going to my father's freaking funeral yet, because geez Louise, down on my knees, he should be 10 feet under the freaking ground. Last week, President Donald Trump denied reports that he suggested dropping nuclear bombs to stop hurricanes from hitting the U.S., according to Time. The report was published by Axios, and the reporter Jonathan Swan said he stands by his story. According to the journalist, Trump suggested nuclear bombs as a deterrent for land-bound hurricanes on multiple occasions, and their unnamed sources have either heard these discussions firsthand or been briefed on recorded conversation in National Security Council memorandums. Trump called the report fake news on Twitter. The idea of dropping nuclear bombs on hurricanes has been around since the 1960s, but the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration say that a nuke would fail to slow the storm, but also release radioactive fallout that would fairly quickly move with the trade winds to affect land areas and cause devastating environmental problems. So this is a big freaking bummer for people who wanted to drop nukes on the freaking hurricanes. Apparently it doesn't freaking work, and although Trump wanted to do it. Doug Jordan, go ahead. You look like you have something to say, so just say it.
Well, I was just thinking that why it doesn't make sense to drop. I don't get it. It just doesn't make sense.
You know what this reminds me of? Freaking Armageddon. You ever seen that freaking movie?
Yeah,
that's a great movie.
Yeah, it's one of the greatest freaking movies of all time.
And my favorite scene from freaking Armageddon is when freaking Bruce Willis traps freaking Ben Affleck on the freaking thing, and he gets out of there on his own, and he leaves him, and he has to blow up with the whole thing because he's having sex with his daughter. So he leaves him on the freaking asteroid, and he locks him in a freaking building, and he says in one of the apartments on the freaking asteroid, and then he freaking takes off. And the thing blows up. He
said, no one, he goes, nobody can love my daughter except for me. And then he freaking lands back down on Earth and they start freaking making out.
Yeah.
I don't remember any of that happening in the movie.
Sometimes I think maybe I get freaking Con Air and freaking Geez Louise down on my knees. I get Con Air and freaking Armageddon confused because freaking Steve Buscemi, he plays basically the same freaking guy in both movies, a freaking crazy guy, and Geez Louise down on my knees. He's freaking bug-eyed in both movies, and his freaking teeth are all freaking crooked. He's absolutely freaking hilarious.
He plays an alien in that movie, right?
Steve Buscemi?
Yeah, he plays an alien in Armageddon. He's the alien on the asteroid.
Yeah.
No?
No, I think you're thinking of when he played the dog in freaking Men in Black.
He played the freaking dog?
He played. They used his face as a model for the dog, for his eyes. Freaking hilarious. Well, Will Smith hasn't been in any good movies lately. When is he gonna make another one?
You know, I watched him in the new Aladdin, and I thought he was the best freaking part.
Well, the freaking genie is always the freaking best part, Doug.
He was the best part of that movie.
Watch.
Yeah. What are you doing?
Oh my God. Well, let's get through the freaking news because we are at freaking war. So last week, 6 adults spanning an age range of 62 to 85-year-olds were arrested and now face sex charges in Connecticut. Police had installed surveillance equipment in Grace Richardson Conservation Area in Fairfield after discovering the area was being advertised online as a location for casual sex. After surveilling lewd sexual activity, local police were dispatched. 5 men and one 85-year-old woman were arrested for lewd sexual activity. The group now faces charges ranging from breach of peace to public indecency. My question is, how long do you think it took for the police to identify how many people were actually in that pile? Because at those ages, they must have just thought it was either one big person or around 10 old people just mashed together. I mean, how could you tell? Doug Jordan, you've seen old people have sex before on porno. What do you think?
Yeah, I wasn't even paying attention to what this story is about.
It's about old people freaking having sex with each other, Doug.
I mean, you watched your parents have sex all the freaking time, so maybe you know.
No, I didn't do it all the freaking time, and I was a freaking kid when it happened. It was freaking hilarious.
I think this is the most freaking disgusting story we've ever freaking done.
Are the police going to release the footage?
I'm assuming the answer is no.
Last week, a Florida man was arrested for allegedly performing an illegal castration surgery, according to NBC News. Gary Van Ryswick,
Yep,
that's what it is. Gary Van Ryswick was arrested after a sheriff's deputy went to check on an aborted 911 call made from within the home. Upon entering the home, the 74-year-old told the deputy that he had performed a castration on a man and he had met on a fetish site for eunuchs on the dark web. According to the reports, deputies found a man on the bed with a towel and heavy blood flow from his groin. The victim was flown to a nearby hospital and remains in stable condition. His testicles and penis were found in a pink container. Van Rieswick made an operating room in his own house, complete with medical equipment, painkillers, and a camera to record the procedures, officials said. The suspect told the victim that he performed castration on animals and had even removed one of his own testicles in 2012, according to the sheriff. Van Rieswick also told investigators that he had performed a similar surgery years ago to another man in a motel, but couldn't recall his name. Van Rieswick was booked Monday on suspicion of felony practicing medicine without a license, resulting in bodily injury, which is actually a freaking second degree for a freaking felony.
So this guy freaking meets somebody on freaking Craigslist, and they freaking come over, and then when they're freaking over, he surprises them and he freaking cuts off their freaking.
Yeah.
As someone who's had a part of their body freaking cut off without freaking consent, this is a freaking unfortunate freaking story.
Yeah.
And it's not just his or his freaking testicles. It's all freaking three. Both freaking testes and the freaking schlong to top it all off.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't even imagine what that would be like. Doug Jordan, you're probably the closest to having had that operation done. Tell us what this guy's going through. Walk us through a step-by-step analysis of what this guy's feeling, how it feels to be laying in the hospital recovering from such a horrible event.
Well, it's never happened. I haven't come close to happening it, but I'm sure the recovery is pretty painful.
They didn't even say if they reattached it.
I don't think. Can you freaking reattach it? I think once it's freaking cut off, it's cut off.
You can absolutely freaking reattach it. Guy freaking has his wife freaking cut off his freaking and threw it out of a freaking moving car. They found it in a freaking field, and they freaking attached it.
Well, I mean, did he pickle it, or was it just freaking rotten? Because you don't want
What the hell kind of question is that, Doug?
This guy just had his freaking cut off. He's got a fresh and a fresh pair of in his freaking pink little jar.
He's not thinking about freaking pickling it and freaking eating it.
Well, did the guy that did it pickle it?
You're suggesting that he's freaking talking about pickling his own freaking and eating it.
Yeah, probably.
Doug, what the hell? What is this?
What is what? I'm just trying to freaking think of something.
Doug, this is a freaking radio show. I can't put any of this out on the freaking air. You can't talk about freaking pickling and eating them.
Okay, sorry.
Jeez Louise, down on my freaking knees.
But the guy did get freaking castrated. That's what he wanted. That was his wishes. And is there something wrong with having with being castrated if that's what you really want? I mean, you probably get freaking pretty sick because you need those freaking hormones.
I mean, I would imagine he's probably freaking sick. He cut off his freaking
and his balls. That's what the hormones are. Well, either way, all's well that ends well. Weakers, tweakers, thrill seekers. I had so many freaking segment ideas this week, and they were all absolutely freaking horrible. And we're going to go through in a little segment called Horrible Segment Ideas that I came up with, and we're going to talk about what we could do to make them freaking better. Doug Jordan, geez Louise, what do you think of this idea? This one actually might be right up your alley. I wanted to do best freaking Joe Pesci movies. I was going to talk about freaking Who Framed Roger Rabbit. I was going to talk about when he played the freaking Penguin in freaking Batman Returns. I was going to talk about just a whole freaking slew of movies that he freaking did.
Freaking Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah.
He played freaking Mario.
Yep, Super freaking Mario's was actually on the freaking list. When he was in freaking Home Alone was going to be freaking absolutely hilarious. And when he was also in Jeez Louise Down on My Knees when he played freaking Shmee in the movie Hook, made by Steven freaking Spielberg. And I was going to do all these freaking hilarious movies, and we were going to compare them and talk about them. And geez Louise, Down on My Knees, it just never came together. Doug Jordan, how would you have liked that freaking segment, and what do you think we could do to make it better?
I mean, yeah, I would have talked about Joe Pesci, so that would have been good. And to make it better, maybe talk about movies that we wanna freaking see Joe Pesci in.
Oh, I see.
Maybe we could do that.
Who do you think Joe Pesci would play in freaking either Biohacker or one of the freaking sequels?
Yeah.
The main character?
No. Wrong.
Who would you see him playing in the Biohacker movies?
I would cast him as the troll and freaking leave your freaking part on the cutting room floor.
That's fine. I didn't even freaking want that part in the first place.
Let me ask you this. If Joe Pesci had been cast in freaking Forrest Gump, who would he have played?
Lieutenant Dan.
Yeah, that's good.
Agreed.
Yeah. Because they wouldn't even need to cut his legs off like they did to Gary Sinise. They would just give him legs, and then they just take his fake legs away, and then they just say, well, they cut his legs off, sit him down, sit his little plump behind on a freaking wheelchair. What about the movie Eight Heads in a Duffel Bag?
What is that? I've never even heard of that freaking movie.
What about Gone Fishing? That's with Danny Glover.
Yeah, I've heard of that one.
I watched that freaking movie last week. It's freaking hilarious.
Yeah, I bet.
The part where the freaking boat gets like unattached from the freaking car, and Danny Glover is freaking. You just sit there. I was so freaking drunk when I watched it. It was it's amazing.
I also wanted to do a freaking segment based on this freaking hilarious freaking list I saw called 10 Fat People Who Are Successful. And then a bunch of the names I didn't freaking even know. One of them is a guy, Steve Ballmer. I think he freaking owns a basketball team or something, but he was maybe he owns freaking Microsoft. And who would be on that freaking list? I mean, obviously Jonah Hill.
Freaking Newman.
Yeah, freaking Newman would be hilarious.
Yeah, those are pretty much the only two guys I can freaking think of.
Yeah.
What about the girl from the Willy Wonka movie when she freaking blows up?
Yeah, but she wasn't fat before that.
Yeah, but then then she was fat.
She's just greedy.
She freaking stayed fat forever.
Freaking John Candy.
Yeah, John Candy. Well, he's dead. It's not very freaking successful when you eat yourself to death with an extra large freaking lasagna. And he even ate the one that he made for his two dogs, and they were obese. He would make John Candy's story goes, and for weakers and tweakers who don't know much about freaking Hollywood, we'll have a little Hollywood breakdown here. Story goes, freaking John Candy would make a freaking extra large lasagna for himself every freaking night. Beef, veal, sausage, chicken, didn't matter. He'd put it all in. He didn't even use freaking pasta. He just layered it with freaking bacon, and then he would make two smaller versions for his dogs. But the night that he freaking died, he was hungry after that extra large lasagna. And he, instead of giving it to his obese, freaking tiny little freaking dogs, he ate those two portions. And that was the freaking straw. And basically, that was the freaking giant lasagna that freaking broke the freaking fat camel's back. And I freaking loved John Candy.
Yeah, and legend has it he ate those freaking lasagnas with his freaking bare hands.
Yeah. And I got to tell you, if the lasagna hadn't killed him, he might have gone after the freaking dogs. He was so freaking ravished that day.
And when they found the pans, there was no freaking trace of even the slightest bit of freaking lasagna.
Yeah.
He licked those freaking dishes freaking clean.
Absolutely clean from top to freaking bottom. They had to freaking cut them open just to find out what was in them.
And all it was freaking lasagna and fat.
Weakers, tweakers, thrill freaking seekers. This has been a freaking hilarious freaking episode of freaking Our Week in Review. My name is freaking Taylor, the freaking Sandman Lofton. With me as always, coming all the way from freaking Seattleite, New York, Seattle freaking Washington, is freaking Sandy the Sandman freaking Farkas. And then sitting right freaking next to me, looking freaking clean as a freaking Dickens, Doug freaking Jordan. Weakers, tweakers, thrill seekers, we love you so much. We're so freaking hot for you. And we'll see you next week and every week for the rest of our freaking lives. No freaking war will take us down. Sandy knows it, I know it, Doug knows it, and Doug is going on a freaking reconnaissance mission, and so next week Doug might not be here because he might be in, yep, you freaking guessed it, he might be with freaking Arnold all the way in freaking Seattle, freaking Seattle, Washington.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to Seattle.
No, you have to.
No,
we talked about it earlier. You said you were going to do it.
No, I specifically said I wasn't going to do it, and I wasn't going to fund it. I wasn't going to fund sending Arnold to freaking Seattle.
You're bankrolling, Doug, but then you uncovered the truth about freaking Tadia, and then you got all freaking fired up, and now you're freaking involved.
And you gotta freaking go because you can't just send him on a freaking airplane because heaven forbid he starts a fire on the plane, and geez Louise, the whole freaking plane goes down.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm just not going to send him anywhere.
No, don't. You're not going to send him. You're going to go with him. Because
Doug,
he
the truth of the
can't
matter
speak
is,
for himself.
You're freaking implicated in all of this too, so I mean, you're going down regardless of whether you freaking participate or not. So you might as well just freaking participate and freaking bankroll this thing and be Arnold's freaking caretaker.
Yeah. Yeah. Weakers, tweakers, thrill seekers, thank you so much for listening. We're so freaking hot and we'll see you freaking next week. So what did you guys say about freaking Tadia?
What do you mean? We told
We
you.
think he's. I've been saying from the very beginning that I think that he's up to something. That he was a freaking plant for Evan Dawson, and now that all these freaking events are transpiring, guys know where to be freaking found.
Yeah, all I'm just saying is it's just suspicious that all this stuff's going on and then he just freaking disappeared.
And I'm starting to wonder if he actually even has freaking cancer.
Yeah, I definitely don't think that he has freaking cancer.
So you think he's freaking working for Dawson?
Yeah,
I
couldn't be any more clear that that's what we're freaking saying.
I mean, you thought that he worked for Dawson when he came on the show originally, so it wouldn't be too far off if that's what you freaking thought.
I'm gonna freaking end up freaking killing the guy. I'm so freaking upset. I'm gonna end up freaking strangling him with my bare hands and then setting his body on fire. I'm so freaking upset, and I'm not even sure who to be freaking upset with right now. Dawson, you should be very freaking nervous, and that's what I want to say to the freaking guy.
Right. Yeah. Doug, give me a call a little bit later. We'll talk freaking logistics about your and freaking Arnold's trip out here.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
Also, bring a pretty good amount of freaking petty cash, because I'm gonna freaking take you out on the freaking town.
Yeah.
I'm gonna show you a good freaking time.
They call that freaking per diem.
I thought when you take somebody out in the town, you pay for them. That's the idea of taking you out on the town.
Well, I've got a freaking Vespa scooter now.
Yeah. You're gonna need cab fare.
Even if I and Arnold were to go, you think all three of us are gonna fit on that freaking scooter?
Arnold's not allowed to freaking come with us.
Arnold wouldn't fit on a scooter all by himself. He could maybe